Jones with your host, Jerry Park.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Pat Jones Oklahoma State Football Show. Well, it was a 49-15 loss to Nebraska Saturday at Lewis Field in Stillwater. And Coach, I really believe that it was the best 60 minutes of offensive football that Oklahoma State has played this year. But you told me maybe the defense was outstanding.
Well, I won't say, Jerry, outstanding. I think when I watched the film, reviewed it a little bit, I think we played a little bit better defensively in spots than I might have thought, or I thought in my initial impressions after the ball game. I guess sometimes I tend to relate back in years, and I can remember with what I thought were fairly good defensive units, we have just gotten gnawed up against these people. We gave up some big plays, obviously, that hurt us. We had 3 turnovers. We put our defense in real tough position on 3 occasions. They're good enough to obviously take advantage of that sort of thing. But I think we battled around with them. Again, a little bit better defensively. I thought offensively, we'll talk a little bit more about this as the show goes on, but good to get Denson back in the flow of things. Things are starting to happen there like we had originally envisioned as far as using him as a receiver-runner combination. Berrien continues to get better. I think it's a pretty good little combination. I thought we pass protected a little bit better. Ford threw the ball at times well. Again, we got off, I think, 44. But sure, the turnovers, I think, were very, very crucial. But I think we're getting better. My worst fear, Jerry, was to come out of a ball game like this and don't feel like that you are making improvement because the level of competition is continuing to pick up. But I really don't think that way. Well,
there was definite improvement, and you heard Coach Jones talk about big plays from Nebraska, but there were some big plays for Oklahoma State. We'll take a look at those when we take a look at the highlights. Well, the Pat Jones Show continues in a couple of minutes. Well, it was a beautiful day for football in Lewis Field Saturday against Nebraska, temperature of 81 degrees. And as we pick up the action, Oklahoma State won the toss, deferred to the second half, and so Nebraska took the ball. Pat?
Well, I thought here we're lucky on this one. They hit a little bit of a crack. I think by and large our kick coverage was pretty good throughout the afternoon. They have got a fairly deadly return game. You can see he got inside the wedge right there, and we finally knock him down. Interestingly enough, I thought in this series right here, Jerry, we gave ground pretty grudgingly. They're more adept and they're doing some more stuff formation-wise, and they can still do this and line up and just run right at you, but we're getting around the ball pretty good. You can see we're jumping in and out and with some blitzes and fake blitzes and showing them blitzes and this sort of thing. Now, they got into some varied formations that kind of made us check out of some of this, but again, this has been a real interesting series in this regard. This is the option that they have run so effectively over the years. Sometimes they're going to get you at it, sometimes not. See, they really didn't gash us here early on, in my opinion. Because now they run the option. He almost got outside, but we've got people flying around him pretty good. With these guys here, they sneak and make it, but obviously, like anybody else, you're going to try to do the best thing you can to try to prevent big plays on the same hand. Against them, you've got to gamble some. McCants, I thought, threw the ball pretty effectively, and they caught the ball. Here you can see this is a pretty good job defensively. Now they're just going to run right up in there. They had lost a fullback to injury a couple of weeks ago, and I think that has somewhat affected their inside running game. But they have, to a degree, changed their style of offense. Now, we busted a coverage. Corner cannot let the guy get up inside. He did. They hit it. But again, McCants is a pretty good thrower. Maybe the best combination runner-thrower we've seen out of them since maybe Turner Gill, and they are a little bit more adept at doing some things, throwing the ball, than I've seen them in a while. Dimitri Markham was just so anxious. This guy's really wound tight. I really like this guy, and he probably should have downed it in the end zone, and he came out with it. Play action right off the bat. They've got him covered, and Kenny makes a pretty good scramble. Well, I was a little bit scared here early on. That ball came popping out, but we were down there. Roger Franks hits a crack, makes a nice run. That ball kind of drifted out, but again, he was down. So this stuff tends to spook me pretty good from the sideline. I will not lie about that. But again, continue to get fairly good fullback play. This is good. I'm not sure he was down on that one, really, seeing that. But okay, now we turned to one of their defensive ends, outside linebackers, ran inside our tight end, turned him loose and got hit in the head. Okay, now Ford goes back to throw, throws deep. Boy, we had Denson, and we'll talk more about this as we go on, but okay, Denson, this is how I envisioned originally us using Raphael. I mean, he's got good hands. You see, we tried to stretch him down the middle one time. Now we're running a little cross route with him. Nice job of getting the ball to him in stride. He's about a step away. If he could have gotten by that one right there, we had a pretty good foot race coming up, and he's going to win most of those. Come down, run the option, deal it. Not much, but we're making 5 yards here. Again, the combination of Berrien and Denson, I really like. Okay, here's Raphael right there. We couldn't get really any movement at the point of attack. All right, now come off on with a sprint pass. Okay, he came open late and we overthrew him right there, but we've driven it back across midfield.
It was a good long drive.
Yes, it was a good long drive. Okay, now we did a pretty good job of kicking the ball dead inside the 5 yard, and we get another one later on. I think we kill it at the 1. Was not quite as pleased with Vincent's kicking chores as maybe I would have been in some other games, but again, we did a fairly good job by and large. You can see here now they're driving the ball right off their own goal line. You can see what we're doing. This is some of the stuff. That's a nice throw and catch right there. We had him covered pretty good. They threw it in there and made a nice catch. They're coming back here with play action of their own. We've got them covered down the field. McCants is a 5th-year guy. Good job, Nobles. Good job, Michael Woolridge. McCants is a 5th-year guy who does not really, appears to me, make any real glaring mistakes. He's got pretty good judgment. He's not going to panic and really throw the ball into the crowd. He has got running ability. He's not as electrifying as some that we've seen out of them in other years. But, again, veteran guy that does a pretty good job. Okay, again, now they just throw a little old flat pass to Johnny Mitchell. Boy, he's a good-looking player, which he had played well against us a year ago. Run inside, not much. But so we're not really just lined up and getting gashed play after play after play. Much better maybe than I thought earlier. Again, this is some stuff that is a little bit different. We had them covered pretty well right there. Okay, now short yardage, they run up inside and miss a tackle right there. That should have realistically been about a 10-yard gain when they hit that crack. And now Brown runs and goes off down in there and scores. You've seen 2 big plays. Other than that, I think we're playing, again, better than I had first thought defensively. That's exactly right. A little bit of a short kick here. Okay,
wound up Markham again. Here
comes Markham, and he hits a crack. And again, Markham is really getting better. This guy really, really enjoys playing the game and likes the enthusiasm, like his emotions. He's getting in better condition. But this guy really cannot wait for Saturday afternoon to get here. Really good young player, Jerry, who is getting better. He is a guy that we've probably seen as much improvement maybe as out of anybody. Okay, here we run. Berrien, headgear's flying off. That's typical Oklahoma State, Nebraska right there. A little play fake. Okay, LG stumbled right before he got down the middle, and Kenny made a nice throw. Okay, that umpire's kind of messing with us a little bit on some of our throwing game, but couldn't get that one caught. Go back, Vincent punts. So again, he got that one up high. Probably one of the first time in several years that they haven't had a real big punt return against us. Okay, now they're running their version of the one-back running game. They did hit a little bit of a crease here. This stuff is, again, a little bit different for them. You can say, okay, now they run up inside, nothing here. Again, for the people who have observed us, Brandon Colbert there, good job, Brandon. People who have observed this series over the years can see that what we're doing here with some of this, again, blitz stuff. Nice job right here. That's that same option they hit on us a minute ago. Repeat coming up. McCants comes down the line of scrimmage. Okay, there's Colbert again. Torpedo the lead block, and 14-0 Nebraska on 2 big plays. But again, I think we've moved the ball and we're battling.
Well, it's going to bring up a 4th and 4 when the Pat Jones Show continues, and we take a look at second quarter highlights from the football game between O-State and Nebraska in just a couple of minutes. Welcome back to the Pat Jones Football Show. As the first quarter ended, Oklahoma State on a pretty impressive defensive action, stopping Nebraska, Pat. We pick them up, and they have to punt.
Well, they punt. We get them stopped. Using Burt Milner a little bit more on some of the punt return stuff. He is a quick guy who has got a real chance to break them, trying to take some of the heat off Scotty Harmon, run a sweep and nothing there. Harmon tends to get beat up, but again, the more we can use Milner on that, the better off we are. Run an option. Couldn't sustain a block on the perimeter. Again, I still like this option stuff because I think we're getting some plays out of it, and it's giving us a little bit of chance. Kenny's got a lot of time, comes back and throws and hits Milner. So again, yeah, there's we had a little bit of pushing. That wasn't Milner, it's Denson, I'm sorry. Okay, come in and Vincent punts. Kind of hit this one off the side of his foot. got a little bit of a bounce there, need to do a little bit better job of punting the ball. They come back, turn around, and run a sweep of their own. Nothing here. You can see a repeat. So it wasn't like that they were just hitting a crease every time they ran the ball. Again, in a lot of ways, I think we did some pretty nice things defensively. Okay, he did hit a little crease, but here's Clark and Scotty Harmon on the tackle. Okay, comes off a little bit of a play fake, hit the guy down, and he's going, let's wrap up, man. But they have got a little bit more diversified attack. All right, there's that same option. Okay, there's Wendell Gaines again, a replay coming up. So it's hit and miss. We did some things defensively. Good job, Wendell. Sometimes they're going to hit a crease in there. Okay, and this is we got the pitch covered up, and now we've got pressure from the inside, and we've got it torpedoed. Okay, now they come back out and dump this thing. Mitchell made a nice catch right out here. So they hit it. They had an open date. Good job, defense. That's the way to bang them around. They had an open date, and I think they had worked, obviously, on some of this throwing game stuff against man coverage or against the blitz. That was a fourth down.
Fourth down and 2.
Fourth and 2, and they did a nice job. We did a nice job of stopping them. Again, Nebraska throwing it on 4th and 2. A little bit unusual for those fellas. McCants comes out. Andre Thompson-Gilden got pretty good pressure. Got him pretty well covered, and he has to throw on the run and overthrows it. But good job, defense. Good job of getting them stopped. Okay, now we're going to come out and get the ball ourselves. Big play right here, Jerry. I thought this was an immensely big play. We've held them. We've stopped them on 4th and 2. Now they give the ball off to the fullback off that same series. Obviously cannot turn the ball over to people this good or anybody really down on this end of the field. Now they run a little play action. This is the kind of stuff that, again, is tough against man-to-man coverage, or if you're not really paying close attention to what you ought to be seeing, they got a chance to hit it. Okay, going to run Brown up on the inside, blast again out of the power eye. You can see they're jumping in and out of power eye. It looked really about
good
like
stop.
what. Good job of tackling, good job of wrapping. This guy's a good back. I was impressed with him a year ago, and good job up and over. Again, when at a point I thought, Jerry, that it realistically could have been still 14-0, and then we've done some things. I think the turnover, I think if there was a real big play in the ball game, I think it was that fumble that gave them the ball down there. Okay, here comes Markham again, nowhere to go, and Nebraska makes a nice play. And Nebraska's traditionally good on covering kicks. Nebraska's traditionally a very good football team. Ford comes out, throws the ball out in the flat to Burt Milner. That's a way to fight and scratch Burt. Good job here. Milner, Robert Kirksey, Cheatwood. These guys, again, I like this receiver core. There's some smallish guys, but you can see here's Burt out here fighting and scratching. And they called personal foul on them. I think I wish we kind of might have got some of this stuff stopped. Okay, we overthrew one there. They had us covered. Okay, here we go. Now we give the ball off to Barry, nowhere to go. So, again, we're coming back now. Here goes Ford back to throw. Got good protection, sits in here. Okay, and underthrew that in a little bit. Again, Robert Kirksey, I think, ended up the day with 6 catches for, 104 yards or something like that. Again, Vincent hit this one off the side of his foot. Come on, Barry, we got to do a little bit better job of that now. Ball goes out of bounds. All right, now Nebraska comes back. They're going to try to go for the home run off that same option series and overthrow it. And I think we had pretty decent coverage there. All right, now they come back, give the ball off the tailback. Nothing doing here. Got a lot of guys around him. Good job, Garrett Garman, Funchess, these guys. Okay, here they've got another tailback in the ball game now. And Cowboy defense is I think still getting after it pretty good. Come out here, a little sprint pass, throw it out in front of us. Can't complete that. Now Nebraska's got a punt. Comes in here and they boom this one down the field. All right, there we go. Good job, good job, Burt Milner. I think this is interesting here, using him and again working him and Harmon interchangeably. All right, option play, pitch it. Couldn't get a guy blocked again on the perimeter, but I think that the execution of that stuff looks pretty good to me. Okay, throws the ball out to Robert Kirksey. Replay coming up. I think this was a pretty good blend of things. Again, I think we kept people basically out of Ford's face most of the afternoon. Kirksey, nice job of catching the ball. Nothing real dramatic, but a pretty easy throw and a nice catch. Ford going back to again. Throws down the sidelines, big play. Really a great catch by Burt Milner. Obviously, Milner, which is what we've seen before, he has got big play capabilities. Burt enjoys playing the game. He's a heck of a competitor. Okay, getting him cut. All All right,
Great catch.
Yeah, it was a nice throw. That's about the only place they had us covered pretty good. Great throw, great catch. Now we're down on their end of the field. All right, turn around and toss it on a sweep again. Okay, here you go, Russell Berry. Nice job right here. Again, this is something we need to be able to run consistently. It's always been a big part of our offense. Good job, Berry. And again, like I said before, I'm really liking the combination of these two guys, and then we've still got some of these other youngsters still involved in the running back scenario. Okay, Roger Franks goes out and gets a guy knocked down. Okay, Steve Keith on tight ends gets a guy pinned back inside, and we got a play. So you can see we're moving, but we're on their side of the 20-yard line. Okay, give the ball off to Denson. Not much here. But sure is good to get him back in the flow of things. Can he go back, quarterback draw? Nothing. They ran some twists and stunts up inside, which is not good on that kind of play, but they hit us in the mouth. Kenny's going back to throw. Again, let's don't try to force it. Don't try to do anything that's not there. Really proud of Ricky Myers. He had 3 field goals for the day. Sure, we'd like to get 7s out of, but I thought this will do a lot of good for Myers. Again, he's still a relatively newcomer. He's a second-year freshman. Right now it's 21-3. We kick off to Nebraska. The wind had jumped up a little bit, and we were kind of going into it somewhat here. Okay, bounce it out to the outside. When they tried to run their sideline return, I thought we defended it pretty well. Again, they hit that one, almost hit it early on. All right, here's that middle screen that everybody in the world's trying to throw now. All right, good job. That's a way to hustle around Wendell Gaines. We got people flying around the ball. Okay, going back to throw. Good pressure by Gilden. Got him flushed out of the pocket. Got us run off. Scramble situation. They did throw and catch it. Okay, here they come back off play action. Get down in a seam here a couple of times on us. Okay, here we've got a form of blitz. Boom, bang. Okay, bounce it back to the outside. Not much cooking there. Clarence Nobles. Okay, you can see we're faking blitzes, getting guys lined up in there and pulling them out. Okay, I think our man Wendell Gaines bats this ball up in the air again. We've seen this a number of times already. I think Andre Thompson's the one that ends up catching it.
He got the interception.
Got the interception. All right, let's see. There's somebody's big hand. Yep, that's Wendell Gaines. And there's Andre Thompson. That's the way to get that ball caught. That's the kind of stuff you need. Again, really with the exception of a couple of 3 plays, big plays, we've really done a pretty nice job defensively. 21-3, but we obviously feel like we're very much alive.
Well, we'll be back to talk with Coach Pat Jones about what went on in the locker room at halftime of the Oklahoma State-Nebraska game when the Pat Jones Show continues in a couple of minutes. Well, at halftime, it's Oklahoma State 3, but Nebraska has 21. No excuses, Pat, but you take away a play here and a play there, and it's a much tighter football game. Your team's got to feel more confident at halftime than it has in several weeks.
Well, again, it was interesting, Jerry, that defensively, and again, I said this from the outset, they hit the pass, they broke the long run, then we turned the ball over there, as we can see and we haven't cut it much out of these highlights. We're battling around pretty well. Offensively, we've hit some passes, we broke a sweep, we've done some things, got down in there and got stalled. Again, I think the one turnover was a very, very big play. I thought our morale at halftime, I thought our morale going in was very, very good. I think the guys were really keyed up. I think at halftime they were anxious to get back out there and get on with it. So as far as doing some things pretty well, we felt reasonably comfortable with it, and I could tell by the way the guys were acting in the locker room that, again, their confidence level had picked up. No, it's going to be hard against these people. On the same hand, it's not like we just went out there and were totally inept at things.
Well, it was a pretty good first half for Oklahoma State. We'll take a look at second half action of the football game between Oklahoma State and Nebraska when the Pat Jones Show continues in just a couple of minutes. Welcome back to the Pat Jones Show. Pat, as we begin action in the second half, you have to the kickoffs from the 50. What happened?
Well, we had one of our coaches had a little bit of an exchange with an official, verbal exchange, put it that way, on some things, and sure I was a little bit afraid they were going to onside kick the ball. Markham gets it and got it back out across the 10-yard line. Okay, here we go with Russell Berry. Again, Nebraska is probably bigger, stronger defensively than they are fast and nifty. Oh, they're still pretty talented. Boy, it's a nice catch here by Mark Cheatwood. Again, he's a little bit banged up at this point, but okay, move forward around a little bit, get outside. All right, there you go, Kenny. All right, nice throw, excellent catch. This happened right in front of me, and Mark did a great job of getting this ball caught. They had him covered. Okay, we checked off to this, thought we could hit him down the sideline. Had it covered, and we throw it out of bounds. All right, now we're going back here. All right, throw it. They've got us covered right there pretty good. But I really was very impressed with Nebraska's secondary people. Boy, they'll bang you around. We're getting some pressure here. Okay, good job. Who was that? L.G. Thompson, I think, was it catching
Thompson.
that ball? Good catch by L.G. All right, now Vincent comes in, and again, this one gets, he got it off a little bit more. Okay, they get it caught. Okay, good job here, Tyler Williams. Good job on the punt coverage stuff. Turner's a very dangerous guy. Hughes very dangerous return people. Now they're running some play action themselves. Come back out, dump the ball off. All right, get it caught. Some of this stuff where they throw up in front of you, you got to live with. They turn around, hand it off. Not a great deal here. Okay, you can see we got a lot of people close line scrimmage. All right, this is something traditionally they have tried to do good hustle. Clarence Noble's way to go over there and take a shot at him, Brandon Colbert. That they have done over years off that action. Okay, they do hit a little bit of a crack right in here. Let's get around the football men. All right, now they come back. All right, there's the same option. Does not have much, but he jumps up inside now, makes a real big play. Again, this is where this guy is pretty good at things. There's no telling how many times in the last 5 years he's run that same play. All right, again, play action. Same thing they run on us last year. That they come in and hit it. The one big option play, even, Jerry, at 28-3, because of some of the success we've had doing certain things, both offensively and defensively, we did not feel like we were out of the ball game. Okay, here's Denson. Nice little nice return right there.
Looking strong. How's his ankle?
Well, I hadn't seen him as we're speaking now, but I think he came out of the game in pretty good shape. Good job, Russell Berrien. Berrien, again, the tailback position accounted for well over 100 yards. Good job, Russell B. That's a way to get your shoulders down and run hard and look like a real running back, run a quarterback sneak, pick up the first down. Right, you can see we're having some success mixing the run and passing there. Nice job. Dumps it off to Robert Kirksey. Again, Ford's getting better. I think he's getting a little bit better feel for this sort of stuff. Okay, good time. All right, then overthrew that one there. We thought we could get down a crease on them, and at times we did, and couldn't completely hit it all. Boy, nice catch, Robert Kirksey. It's a repeat coming up here, and like I'd mentioned before, I'm probably as proud of Robert Kirksey as anybody we got in the program, and he is really competing and really playing well. And again, I think he's a guy that really gets everything out of himself here. All right, Ford comes back, throws it to Burt Milner. There's going to be, they say they'll get after you pretty good in there and banging you around. Missed a handoff here, and Kenny intelligently tucks the ball and keeps it, but Milner's going to get some big plays here. He's got that kind of capabilities. Okay, tried again, go up over the top of them. They had it covered. Okay, all right, here's the punt. This is the one that gets killed at the 1
yard line.
Right?
Sure
1
is.
yard line. Let's see, I think this Chris Calhoun, I believe that was. Right there, Chris Calhoun. Nice job, fellas. Now, okay, this is just what you'd like to happen. Nebraska takes over to 1, try to hammer it out and make nothing. Got a lot of people around the football. Okay, now they're going to come out and try to throw little play action. Okay, we've got it covered. That Jason Gilden runs him down, tackle him in the end zone. I couldn't tell from our sideline. Again, you have no real perception of what happened. And none of the officials acted like they wanted to give the sign for a safety, so it took me about 2 minutes to ever get an accurate sign out of them. Okay,
Well,
good
it's pretty
job.
obvious from this angle, isn't it?
You bet it is. Good job, Jason Gilden. Here we go, coming up again. All right, good job of having them covered. Come on, Jason Gilden. That's the way to run him down, tackle him in the end zone. Okay, 2 points, Oklahoma State. Now Nebraska is going to have the free kick from the 20-yard line. They're going to punt the ball again. So here they are. Okay, yeah, they go in and punt it. It obviously is a live ball.
Scotty Harmon takes it.
Scotty Harmon takes it, fields the ball. We're going to get it up 45-yard line. So again, we felt like we had some momentum in here, Jerry. Okay, run Franks up in there, get nothing. Again, Nebraska is bigger and stronger, like I've said before, than they are real nimble. All right, boy, nice throw here under pressure to Robert Kirksey. They blitzed a linebacker, and we turned him loose. Ford hung in there, and again, good job here, Robert Kirksey. All right, let's watch it. They're going to turn somebody loose right there. That's the boy, Kenny. That's a nice job. If we're not going to catch it long, it's going to be overthrown. But this is the kind of stuff that you really need to be able to do when people are start pressuring you.
He had 6 for 109 yards.
Yeah, I had a great day here. All right, here's the option. All right, Kenny, you need to be a little bit sharper on pitching that ball. All right, now Kenny's coming back. A little bit of sprint out, trying to go to the end zone, and boy, just almost. Now they had us covered pretty good. All right, here's Kenny Ford back to pass. Again, going deep again. almost had that one. There's guys up in the drain getting knocked up in the signs and everything else. Ricky Myers comes in, knocks through the field goal. 28-8. Again, a pretty good swing of momentum. Certainly would have loved to have got 7 out of it. But again, we defensively got the safety. Offensively, moved the ball down in there, kicked another field goal. All right, Ricky Myers kicks off down to 5. That's a way to get around that football, man. Okay, Cornell Cannon, Theron Turquoise on the tackle. All right, now they're coming back. They're going to run their fullback, and nothing going here. You can see sometimes we're blitzing, sometimes we're not. Play action comes out the backside. We've got people covered. Okay, McCants scrambles again. He's got some cones. There you go, Satterwhite. That's a way to hustle. Okay, we've got a bunch of people up there. They're running their option again. Nothing going. Nothing going. So here's Carlos Irving again. Funches, Satterwhite. Okay, here's McCants coming down the line of scrimmage. You can see Gilden's got the pitch covered up. Cannon has torpedoed the lead blocker, and we've got what we want. So now Nebraska comes in to punt. We had a punt block on there. Lucky we didn't rough the kicker. I thought they were going to call that. It was the same block that we had used on them a couple of years ago when we did block the kick. They turned Cannon loose, and he didn't take a real good angle. All right, here's burying around on a little bit of sweep, but not much. All right, here's Kenny Ford back to pass. All right, again, good protection. Sits in here, throws it to that boy Burt Milner. Good job here. I think we had I'm not trying to, again, to officiate. Boy, there was some little bit of pushing and shoving going on both ways in this stuff, and some grabbing, and we've got some guys that are wound tight, and so does Nebraska. I think he's going to stop this stuff early on. I thought at one time it might get out of hand. Okay, Kenny Ford ducking inside on the option. Again, Ford back to throw. Gets the ball off, overthrew that one. Okay, here we go back again now. All right, okay,
this
Kenny.
One hurt.
Yeah, okay, yeah, this is one, that's right. It looked like we had Denson coming open back in behind him there, and good job. You see Burt Milner up there nailing him on the interception. That boy, Burt. Okay, now they're throwing a stop right up in front of us on option action. We have seen this before. It's fairly secure, and you can see that series of thing. All right, here's the option keeper part of it, and he does hit a crack, makes some yardage, but 28-8, it's actually a pretty good battle going on here, Jerry.
It was a pretty good football game, as Pat said, 28-8. We'll be back with fourth quarter action, Oklahoma State and Nebraska, when the Pat Jones Show continues. Welcome back to the Pat Jones Show. I'm Jerry Park, along with head football coach at Oklahoma State University, Pat Jones. Pat, as we head into the fourth quarter, the defense is playing very, very well here.
Well, again, we're doing some pretty good things. They're down here on our end of the field, which is tough. Okay, they run the blast up inside, did hit a crack. We were playing some man coverage on the backside, got a little bit fooled, and that's too easy for them. Again, a certain amount of that is going to happen when we're doing some of these things that we're doing. But again, it's hard to tell certainly when the game's going on what's happening. Again, we got fooled a little bit or something, a little bit late coming off a release, and they hit a crease, and there they go. Fullback went the wrong way right here. We run the option, and they're going to nail Berrien pretty good. But again, we were doing some either-or things offensively, and fullback did not. Boy, if we could have gotten that executed right there, we had a lot of running room down the sideline. Okay, again, now Vincent started punting the ball, I thought, a little bit better in the second half. All right, there you go. They spin out of one. All right, to wrap him up. Good job. All right, attaboy.
At this point, turnovers have hurt you and caused a couple of scores.
Yeah, we threw a couple of interceptions down here, and I think we got a little bit frustrated. They gave them a couple of cheapies because now we're realistically out of it score-wise. But again, it's still a pretty good contest going on. Nebraska's still competing hard, and we are too. Good job, Robert Kirksey. Got the first down. Nice job of Ford. You can see we can keep people right off of him. I think he can be reasonably effective.
He looked very calm.
Well, he did. I won't say calm. I don't know if calm is exactly the right word, Jerry, but I think he was pretty poised. I think he was really ready to play going in. Again, a long, hot afternoon, but competitiveness, I'm having a hard time pronouncing that. I think we competed pretty well, overthrew that one right there to Cheatwood. All right, come back off play action here. All right, we got a little bit of pressure on him, sets back, and interference is called here. We'd gotten a little bit risky we threw a couple of interceptions. Again, we tell a kid, hey, you don't have to necessarily try to force anything. Let's just go over there and play. All right, good job of hanging back in there. Good job of avoiding pressure. Guy made a nice break, but got there a little bit early. on Berrien. Okay, here you go. Here's Kenny Ford going back now to throw again. All right. Boy, nice catch by Burt Milner. This was really, really a good throw and catch.
Let's look at it again.
Hell, here again, I've said a lot of good things about Kirksey and Milner and Cheatwood and some of this receiver core, but you can see here, Burt Milner, Burt's gonna catch a lot of things for a guy. He's the one that plays taller than he is. You know, he's a short guy, but he's got great leaping ability and very, very good hands. And in fact, his hands are still kind of banged up. Bother him in practice throughout the week because he had a broken bone there at one time. Okay, Ford going back to throw. All right, good job, Cheatwood. Kind of stumbled a little bit, but Cowboys are doing some pretty good things battling. And Cheatwood got a little bit banged up, I think, during the course of the ball game. All right, Ford ducking inside on the option. All right, now it's short yardage. All right, give the ball off to Berrien. Make the first down. All right, run a little option. Pitch it right here. Okay, that's the way to run, Russell. If you can hit a crack on this stuff, which we will, you got some real big play potential. All right, Kenny Ford coming back. All right, now we've got some pressure. All right, Kenny, and he wisely got off down there and threw it away. But this is the way you like to see Ford operate. Again, when you have pressure, oh boy, we had a guy open right there, and Kirksey did a nice job again coming off some play action stuff.
This is fourth down.
Now fourth down, going for it. All right, yeah, they got the guy covered, or we overthrow, or a combination of both. Now Nebraska's got it back. Okay, come back in.
But not for long.
Not for long. They kick it all around. Boy, I thought this ball was going to bounce right up in this kid's hands. He was going to run the other way. Fortunately for us, we got it. Okay, here they go and run in here, and let's see where somebody ripped it out, and ball's ricocheting all over the place, and they're trying to recover it, and so are we. And let's see, Cornell Cannon gets on it. That boy Cornell. All right, here we go back again. I turn around. Denson on a sweep. That's a way to jump up in there and explode Raphael. There we go. Again, his best outing, most playing time he's had since the opener against Tulsa. Okay, there you go. And he does some nice things in here. Again, he and Berrien both did. All right, give the ball off on the front end of a option play to Roger Franks. All right, now we give it to Denson. Explodes pretty good. There you go. Again, this is very, very, and I've said that a number of times, very good to get him back involved. He'll obviously get better. Play action, Kenny Ford. All right, overthrew it wisely. Okay, here we go back again. All right, throw it down there. This is where they interfere. We got an interference call right here. Brad McComb. Okay, now we're gonna pick up the first down here. It's Ford back to throw. Okay, nice job here. Throwing it, and I thought it was a good call. There you go. So we're going to get the ball again right down in scoring territory. 24-yard line. All right, there we come back. Fake it again. It's a way to sit up in there, Kenny. Now he just kind of read what he was supposed to and dumped it off in there to Denson. Now across their side of the field. All right, here we come. Give the ball off to Raphael. All right, hits a hole right there and spins. Don't think he's completely well. I think one of those ankles still gets sore. But again, yeah, now this is good right here.
Nice
boy, Raphael, you bet. Nice cut. Again, nice explosion. Touchdown, Oklahoma State. Here you go right here. Right there, boy. See it up inside, and he hits it. And now let's just hit that high gear and let's get in the end zone. But, good job here of everybody. This is, I keep on saying small victories, but this is certainly good for our offensive unit. Again, Ricky Myers did an exceptional job, I thought, of kicking the football. We lose 49-15, but I think that people that had seen the ball game or saw this show, again, realized that we did get some things done, Jerry.
Pat and I'll recap the Oklahoma State-Nebraska football game in just a couple of minutes. Well, despite the loss to Nebraska, some players are having to rewrite their personal bests after the football game. Kirksey with his personal best in receiving, and Kenny Ford had a career-high passing.
Well, again, the interesting thing to me, Jared, somebody had asked me in the post-game stuff, you decided to open the game. Well, it wasn't necessarily the decision necessarily just to open the game up. Nebraska really does not, I don't mean to sound this as being negative toward Nebraska, they really don't do a very good job of rushing the passer. The fears that I had against Miami as far as somebody getting a whole bunch of sacks, we matched up much, much better with them across the front, Nebraska I'm speaking of, than we did Miami. And I'm well aware that we need to be able to throw and catch the football. But like I say, I think Ford only got sacked one time, and we're getting a little bit better combination, I think, of us getting better. And again, we were not going against what I consider real gifted pass rushers. again, getting those two tailbacks involved. And we've talked about what Kirksey has done and what he means to this football team. But no, Ford has got a chance. I am feeling much more comfortable now with what we're asking Kenny Ford to do than maybe at any other point in the season. Now, again, a lot different things matchup-wise with Nebraska as opposed to Miami.
Ricky Myers continues to kick well.
Yeah, good. Again, 3 field goals. There's going to be a time he's going to have to kick one to win the ball game. And again, sure, we need to get him. We would like to get 7s instead of 3s. But this is certainly good for him.
Well, that's a wrap-up on the Oklahoma State-Nebraska game. We'll be back with Pat Jones and Coach's Corner on the Pat Jones Show in a couple of minutes. Well, it's time for Coach's Corner. Each week at this time on this show, we'll present a topic to the coach and get his thoughts a little bit more in depth on it. Coach, after we talked after the Miami game and before the Miami game, and yesterday I happened to watch a little bit of the Penn State Miami game, and your thoughts and Joe Paterno's thoughts were pretty similar about how to play against Miami, eat up the clock, move the ball.
Well, again, expanding on what we were talking about is our ball game versus Miami and our ball game versus Nebraska. Yeah, the way to have a legitimate chance to beat Miami is to try to negate their team's speed with hammering on them. Again, Penn State is much more adept and more veteran and got more players and logically better players, more talent than we've got. Interestingly enough, I heard that same thing. And again, it was kind of interesting. Well, they're seeing the same thing that we are. And try to hammer it out against them. Now you get against somebody like Nebraska or somebody that quite honestly does not have quite the foot speed rushing the passer that a Miami does. Well, then you're able to do some more things. Yeah, we had the TV on the locker room. We got over there prior to our ball game yesterday. Miami, I think, sacked Penn State 5 times in the first half. And again, assuming that Penn State has got more veteran offensive linemen than we've got. But I think that is an interesting point, Jerry. Again, some people you got a chance to do some things with. Some people, the matchups present you a much, much different situation. And again, interestingly enough, the Penn State people saw the same thing that we did.
Well, it just goes to prove my point that coaches like Pat Jones and Joe Paterno are in the same caliber. Congratulations, Pat.
I'm much younger.
We'll talk about the rest of the Big 8 schedule, especially Missouri, the Cowboys' upcoming game, when the Pat Jones Show continues. Just a couple of minutes here to talk with Coach Pat Jones about the upcoming game. It's at the University of Missouri. And Pat, this has really been an interesting series.
Well, it really has. We haven't lost a ball game to Missouri since 1983. I know Jimmy's last year here, we lost one up there to them late in the season, I think 16-10, that we thought had cost us a bid to the Blue Bonnet Bowl. In fact, it didn't. I think I can remember back to '79, I thought maybe one of the most important wins in somewhat recent Oklahoma State history occurred up there when we beat a very, very talented Missouri squad, I think 14-13 or 13-12 in '79. Somebody asked me a question like this, Jerry, a little bit in the post game yesterday, and I gave kind of a cynical response, and probably will continue to throughout the week, along the lines of, well, this has been my smartest series. We've called better plays against Missouri for the last however many years. That has really nothing to do with it. It's interesting to look. This is the 3rd Missouri coach that I have gone up against. Warren Powers, Woody Woodenhofer, now Bob Stull. I think Missouri has had, as best I can remember, 3 different athletic directors in that period of time. And again, this is my 8th year as a head coach. But I think from a standpoint of continuity, if there is a difference in there, maybe we've had more than them. Obviously, Missouri is a quality institution like Oklahoma State is. They've had good football coaches. All 3 of those guys have been good football coaches. Now, why have we won these ball games? Certainly the thing is, it's bounced right for us sometimes. In some years, obviously, we have had better players, some high-profile people that they didn't have. There are certain years going back that they might have had more of that type folk than we did. I've always thought that Oklahoma State players, for whatever reason, really get revved up to play Missouri teams regardless of the circumstances. But the history of this series in recent years and trying to study that program up there is kind of interesting to me. Very, very important ball game for our football team. Very, very important for the University of Missouri. They've been real close down here. We played well against them down here last year. Again, so this is a real crucial one. On the road, they got that artificial surface that people have sliding problems with, so a real important in a lot of ways.
We hope we come back from Columbia with a W. That's it for this week's Pat Jones Show. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you again next week.
The Pat Jones Show has been brought to you by Johnson's of Kingfisher and